Hello, friends. Welcome to Think Out Loud with me, a chatcast produced, hosted, and humbly offered by yours truly, Natalie Peterson, from my little neck of the woods in northern Colorado to you, in yours, wherever and whenever that might be. This digital adventure is an effort to turn years of internal chatter, wondering, silent suffering, and physical and mental close calls into enlightening, empowering conversations with others. Given how many choices you have about how to spend your time, I consider it an absolute honor that you're listening in. Let's get to it. It's currently a whopping 6 degrees here. The bright sun hitting ice crystals floating on Arctic air makes for a glittery display. Nature's fireworks, lightning bugs in the middle of the day, glitter bombs of winter when the breeze hits just so. And with the birds in hiding, there's a few inches of snow that are just enough to dampen any other sounds except for the occasional tires munching by outside, carrying somebody bold enough to go out. It's supposed to be even colder tomorrow. I think I saw a high of 2 on some forecasts and actually negatives in the others. Mother Nature has her own glorious plans in progress, and I'm taken aback by how she moves so intentionally between the seasons with her own purpose and her own pace. And I'm grateful to be here, to be warm, to be safe, to be watching from inside. And I am treasuring this quiet. It's a perfect day to ponder. That I get to plug in and connect with a soul sister to think out loud together is especially sweet. I've been waiting for the stars to align so that we could spend this time in our own sort of ceremony, sharing and wondering out loud at our journeys. Stephanie Urbina Jones is a singer, teacher, best-selling author, sister, friend, mother, wife, and lover of life who brings her passion and experience of living a life of creative freedom to people all over the world. This rock star shamama has a passion for transformation and is a living example of not only dreaming, but bringing those dreams to life. In fact, she recently released a fantastic album, Manuel's Destiny, and she's touring with her honky-tonk mariachi, spreading her spicy love across Texas, Tennessee, Mexico, and everywhere in between. Whether she is writing a song, writing a best-selling book, performing, or leading sacred journeys of transformation as co-founder of Freedom, Folk, and Soul, where I was blessed to meet her, Stephanie is following her heart and chiseling out her soul daily. She'll tell you more as her story unfolds with me over the hour. To begin, though, I just want to take a big, deep breath and break a great big smile and welcome my beautiful friend, Stephanie Urbina Jones, to think out loud with me. Hello, you beautiful human.
Hello, Natalie. It's so good to see you, to talk to you, to hear you. I just, adore and respect you so much. And it's, more than anything, a pleasure to share time with you. So thank you for having me.
You're piping in from 70-degree weather in Mexico, and I can't deny being a little jelly, just a hair, as the sun is piping in over your shoulder. Tell me a little about going to bed in Mexico last night. Tell me what you went to bed in Mexico thinking about. I'd love to just launch right into it and just get into the mess, get into the mix and the beauty of what you've been up to.
Well, to be honest, last night was a bittersweet night. I've been unconsciously sometimes grieving. And, I don't think that a lot of us were taught how to grieve and what that looks like. And, so last year you and I did this book, Sacred Rebel, together, Shaman Heart Sacred Rebel, and really went into the landscape of our life experience when we were adolescents. And so my way that I used to deal with any kind of discomfort or pain or fear was to medicate in some way. And so last night I found myself at a party with a girlfriend of mine here in Mexico that I just love this woman. And there were a lot of other women there, and they were all, beautiful, and they were all, having cocktails and laughing and trying on clothes. She had a little estate sale, and I felt like a teenager.
Mm.
I felt like a teenager, but I was also able to see that I didn't have the story of it's not that I didn't fit in, and it wasn't like that would have been the old story. I'm not enough. I don't fit in. right? Let's get a drink and get comfortable. But instead, I was with myself and my discomfort. It's like I stayed present in not being like joyful, not putting on a mask,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I came home and climbed in bed and I sent a video to one of my nearest and dearest, and I was crying in the video. And I just said, I am so grateful that I have close friends that I can just be myself with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I sent her the video of me crying and talking and just saying, my grief is showing up tonight. I miss my uncle who just died, who was a
Mm-hmm.
part of my life. And I'm grieving and I'm visiting old places of like, ah, what's the point of it anyway? You
Mm.
know, and if you know me, which you do, I'm a pretty joyful being. So when I even have those questions before going to bed, it gives me an opportunity to look, but instead of rejecting myself, which has been my history, what's wrong with you, Stephanie? You have everything to be grateful for. You know, I found pretty quickly a trail to my heart
Mm-hmm.
and allowed myself to feel that grief and kind of love myself instead of judge myself for not being whatever at this party. They asked me to sing and I didn't want to sing. It's like, so I think I went to bed feeling all of it,
Mm-hmm.
gratitude, but a lot of grief and my own self-love, which, as you know, for many of us, it's hard earned. And to be able to see it and not judge myself for being some way
Mm-hmm.
is amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It makes me, I've been listening to the lecture series of Michael Singer where he spends, I think it's like, I'm not kidding, like 30 something hours, which I think would be a fantastic 30 hours to spend with the man, the author of The Untethered Soul. And it he said some things in this last bit that I listened to that you are helping just solidify in real time. And the first is there's two things. First, the goal is not to squash all emotions to the point of extinction where we say, why am I not happy? It's not to squash those emotions to a place where you don't feel them. The goal is to get to a place where you can witness those emotions and honor them from a safe place, as
Yes.
well as the goal is not to be happy and blissful 100% of the time. That's not reasonable for any of us. Like, life happens, shit happens, the world is coming at us, there's scary shit that's going down on a greater level, there's worrisome stuff that happens on personal levels, and to live in some state of euphoria all the time is just not reasonable to expect of ourselves. So the goal is to be satisfied with and happy with how we know, like you're sharing, to be able to um, settle into a safe place to honor and be to honor those emotions and say, I am grieving and I am experiencing sadness or worry. That's what I'm happy. That's what I find myself being happy about. That in those moments where I'm not my bubbly self and I'm not, bursting at the seams, I know where I'm at. And what you're sharing is like a real anecdote of like that actually unfolding, bearing witness to your own emotions.
It is. And I've had a real breakthrough into my tenderness. I think that, being a woman who didn't really have a mother that I never felt like I was wanted. So I carried that, not being wanted, and kind of building an armor, and kind of being the feminine that created the masculine to stay safe. It's just like, and, yeah, we're just getting to it, but it's just like so present. It, for example, you know, like recently, Jeremy, my husband, and I, powerful dreamers, powerful creators, hold, a lot of experiences for a lot of people, his mother, our child, our, all the things that full lives have, we all have. And of course, what happens is you create this life that you don't have time for each other, right? And so like you mix that, we mixed that, I mixed that with this armor,
Mm.
this fear of not of being rejected, of not being loved, that is like so deeply entrenched in me, right? And then one day, when my uncle dies,
Mhm.
like just last week, I'm in the kitchen and within, making coffee, it's 7:30 in the morning. And the next thing I know, I'm on the floor
Mhm. Mhm.
weeping, right? And I'm having this conversation with myself as I'm allowing the grief to happen. And I'm thinking about my uncle. And I'm thinking about all the unrequited love that he never got to express with this person because of this or that or whatever, or he and I got to have. And I'm feeling this grief. And I realize in that moment, like in my family system, it's like we've been alone. Like we're trained to just hold it all in and handle it ourselves, keep it to ourselves in some way. And it dawns on me, and it's crazy. Jeremy and I have been married for 15 years, right?
Wow. Wow.
And it dawns on me, I can go ask him to hold me.
Hmm.
And so for the first time, I go upstairs and wake him up at 7:30 in the morning, like a little kid. And I'm like, I need you. I
Oh.
need you. Can you hold me? You know? And I think he was like, what's going on? And so he woke up and, I've never asked. I've never asked because of my own fear of rejection. So it was really beautiful. And this is the evolution of back to what you were sharing about. It's like these heartbreaking moments, these
Mhm.
thunderstorms are the rain, the fertile ground that sometimes bring us to our knees and make us willing. I mean, in 15 years, I've never asked my husband to hold me, you know?
Wow.
And that's not about him. That's about
No,
my
no, it's
my own, agreements or protecting myself. So this human experience of like what's rocking us all over is a sacred invitation, as we say, into an initiation after initiation of tenderizing our hearts and inviting us to get present in our hearts and with our love for ourselves, you know? So I went down a long story there, but I just felt called to share
no,
it.
I like, thank you so much for sharing such a tender moment. It's testimony to, we've talked before we hit record, just, our journey, even over the last year. It's just remarkable how much there's no destination, I guess, is where I'm going with this. There's no final where we've finally made it and everything is just humming. There's moments where everything's humming, but we're such, that's the beautiful, wonderful journey of life, is that we're actually experiencing this and evolving and transforming daily and becoming even better and better and better versions of ourselves. And, to kind of awkwardly be in the room with you and Jeremy cuddled up together,
Right.
like a little, to have that. But seriously, to have the vision in my heart of such a tender result of evolution of your heart, that's really special. That's really special.
It's life
And
changing. It's
yeah,
life changing. It's one of
yeah.
those, yeah. And it really kind of reminds me again of like where you started with the idea of like that it is again, it's not just from the pain, but it's from the love.
Mm-hmm,
Really, again, makes us fertile for
mm-hmm,
those changes. And I think I said this to Jeremy. I kind of was like scared that I said this in a way like, what does this mean? But I've longed for so much my whole life. And it was all about feeling love,
mm,
all about feeling enough, wanted. And I kind of feel now like I am. And I see it in myself. I feel it in myself most of the time. And so, like, that's it. And now, like I had a profound experience with a healer in Teotihuacan like last month. And we just had this transcendent exchange. And it's just like, and then it's now what? And it's just like, I just want to serve, I just want to share that.
mm,
I want to be a part of, like, I love being a part of like growing, I'm not doing it. I'm just like in the field of people's dreams, like as they're excavating and finding. But it's so cool because it's like every time it works, every time you apply love, every time you apply attention, it always works.
yeah.
You're going to transform. It looks like we're magicians because we hold sacred space.
Mm-hmm,
We can hold a truth of like, it can work.
mm-hmm,
It's in you to transform your life to a life of your dreams and to know your own power and love. And we're living that. And we're here to be with you and to cheer you on, but it's so fulfilling,
yeah.
you know? And so I still have dreams, but they don't have the underlying, and I think I identified it this morning when I was talking to Jeremy. They don't have the codependency
Mm,
that they had before, which was, will you love me? Will you love me? I couldn't help it. I mean, it's not like I was bad. It's just, I was so desperate for love,
mm-hmm,
you know?
yeah, yeah. You talk about holding space for others in ceremony, and I've been in enough of them with you and blessed with just some remarkable experiences. And by remarkable, that feels like a press release type word. It's more like holy shit level experiences, other world type experiences where I've had my own transformation. And I've often looked at you and I've looked at Jeremy and thought, what a special, we call it magic, we call it gift, we call it um, touch, to be able to hold space and to walk beside someone, and be solid, have solid enough standing of your own. And even as I say that, I don't know that that's necessarily it. It's in my own witnessing of you witnessing others, my own observations. I've often wondered, when did you know that this is what you wanted to do? I don't think this was something that you just like one day woke up and said, I feel it. Like you've always been a nurturer. by nature. This somehow I know about you. Um, Tell me a little bit about how like you came to be who you are that I witness today.
Well, it's as I believe everybody's story, it's a magical journey. Like I can pull back the lens and see the life force creator, God, whatever you want to say, angels moving pieces around. But, I was born with this, at 4 years old when my grandfather passed away, and he was my person, kind of like my Uncle Rudy was now. I connected death with I connected death with I want to die. If he died, he was my person. I want to die. Like that's what
Mhm.
a child would do at 4 years old, right? So I spent a long time since I was 4 years old thinking about death and wanting to die. It's like it's so powerfully that pain, that trauma, so in every cell of my body connected to love, right? You can see the magic of that. And at the same time, that was the first, that pain might also opened a portal of seeing into things.
Mm.
I believe we all have those gifts. Some of us have been conditioned out of it, but I was young enough that I saw myself singing and like the heavens opened up and I was singing and communing and that was coming back through me. And so as I grew up, I was like, I had this natural gift of singing, but what I didn't have was an infrastructure of self-love
Mhm.
like, that could hold up. So I couldn't I would get on stages and bands and I would freeze and I would get fired. So, I made my way to Nashville, became a songwriter, and had a great career when my grandmother died. And on her deathbed, she kind of put this thing on me that you're going to be a mensajera, she said, a messenger. You're going to be sharing, and I didn't get this at the time. She said I would be a messenger of our culture and that I would be, making country music with Chili Peppers. So, you know, I spent the next 20 years trying to live that dream, that mission that she put on me that I felt. It's not like she just put it on me. It's like
Right.
I felt it too. But it was because I had this mission and I was broken emotionally, that called me to healing because I couldn't stand and sing without just like, I was at war constantly within myself. I felt shame, unworthiness, ugly, fat. Who do you think you are? You're too old. I was too old in my mind at 26 years old because I was conditioned to think that I was a piece of shit.
Mhm.
That's what I believed. So that's what I was up against, this mission and then this who I think I was born to be, right? And soon after that, I did meet Jeremy in that medicine wheel. And I was so excited because I felt love for him, but I felt in love with his life and what he was doing. And those ways I'd spent 20 years in therapy and counseling, and I understood why I was messed up, but I could not get out of that shame, living that shame until I met Jeremy and
Mm.
until because he was already steeped in breath work. He was leading sweat lodges 2 or 3 times a month, a fire walk once a month, all kinds of ceremonies. He was a part of a community in Tennessee. And so we had a dreaming course that we did once a weekend, a month. So,
Mm.
I just fell into that and always loved it. And my career started to open up as I healed. My
Mhm.
ability that started to open up. And I thought that's would be what I would be doing was just music. And then Jeremy, and many people know this story, relapsed. And at the time that he relapsed, we had two basically, groups, year-long programs that were full and two journeys to Teotihuacan booked with people coming. And I was going to smudge people. I was going to sing some
That was
songs.
your job.
Yeah, I was going to do that. And so, there he was that day. He went to treatment, decided to take a year off of teaching. And I was weeping again on the back porch of our house. And I had another vision, humbly step into becoming a teacher. And I was given direct instruction about who to call and about who would walk with me and teach me. And so that year, I barely made any music, and I led like 15 journeys in Nashville, weekend journeys, and 2 journeys to Teotihuacan, 3 journeys to Teotihuacan. And at the end of that year, I was beginning to learn how to hold sacred space. I still, I tell people this, the first weekend that I was sitting as a teacher, we closed the door. I went upstairs to my bedroom and I wept. I did not want this job
Mm,
because it was so heavy. I didn't understand then that I didn't have to take on anybody's pain. I
mhm.
just had to be a witness. So that your soul knows what to do. You just need a sacred place to do it, and ceremony and community, you know? So that's a long answer, but
No,
that's
it's
how it
beautiful.
happened. That's how it happened. And I love it. The challenge now is like weaving that in with the music. Um,
Mhm.
but it seems to keep working out.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Speaking of your music, I keep track of all your flitting about as you do. Like a beautiful butterfly. Where are you headed to next? What stage will you be on?
So we just released my album Manuel's Destiny in the fall. This was the album I've been wanting to make for 20 years. I produced it, which is a big deal in Nashville, especially that a female. And it was the vision that I'd had since I was a little girl, that 4-year-old, where it was a symphony of sound with the mariachis, the violins, and the trumpets. And the songs were each one a story and a bigger story all together. And then to have the stage and the presentation, it's fantastic. It's a dreamer's dream. And so it's also very expensive. So I'm playing the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2 weeks, in a few weeks. And then I have I've been dreaming into this. Has been my practice that I've been doing, like, okay, now that I'm living these dreams, what is it? And what it is that I have a date with the Nashville Symphony, and that is it came to be for in 2020. I pitched the idea. I had met the CEO of the Nashville Symphony on a flight, another one of those stories. We became friends. And then I had the idea that I knew was the idea. And we had lunch. And I said, I want to create a show with the Nashville Symphony and my honky tonk mariachis over Dia de los Muertos to honor
Mm,
ancestors of country American music, to tell their stories and to teach basically people this tradition, the sacred tradition of honoring our loved ones and bringing them back to life to live with us, in our lives. And he loved it. And we had a date on the books, and then COVID happened and it went
COVID.
away. And, I'm glad that it did, because I only feel now that I have the ability to make this a sacred walking between the worlds show,
Mm.
and inhabit that space. And then, we'll have arrangements. We have the arranger that I'm really excited to work with. This guy's worked with Barbara Streisand and Josh Groban and all these greats. And once we have those arrangements, my dream is to be able to tell this tale around the world and symphonies around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and that you're the first person that I'm sharing it with that I don't feel like that. Who do you think you are? This is great.
No, this is no, absolutely flippin' lootly. This is who you are. I mean, this is who you are. Yeah. I
Yeah,
can I can feel that. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I'm feeling more, and that's so cool to share with you because I mean that's one of the reasons why, when those moments happen that crush your heart,
Yeah.
you know, if we can look at those as initiations and what wants to be awakened and made more whole, then like how cool to be able to dream these dreams and believe that you're worthy
Hmm.
of bringing them to life, that life loves you, you know, that that's amazing. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly perfect the way that it in its in those moments where we question, why me and why not me and all of the in-betweens, that all of this is being laid. These plans are being laid out, and not being able to know what that timing is, and just letting, yeah, letting faith guide you.
and farming your field. I'm teaching a class right now. So it's like, I get that. It's like farming your field of dreams.
Mhm.
Farmers are dreams. And mostly that's like, it's not, it's like, yeah, it's like, the law of attraction. It's like
Yes.
holding energetic and, loving it, seeing it, feeling it. And when something's in the way, when an old agreement, who do you think you are? It's too late, blah, blah, blah. Take it to task.
Yes.
Farm that, weed that,
Hmm. For sure.
right?
I've had the opportunity to work very close with you on my own dreams and um, my own pains and points in my life that needed revisiting, and had some very powerful, as I said, powerful experiences with you. And I think this last year, you and I have known each other for, we met each other, I was trying to think about it, September of 22. Um, and I joined an online wheel and joined Zoom with several others, but I had committed to going to the to Sacred Rebel. I committed to Sacred Rebel before I took the online wheel. And then when I took the online wheel, I was like, holy shit, I need to do this in person. And so then in November of last year, of not last year, but of 22, took first of 3 trips to Mexico. Um, and I can say matter of factly that, yeah, my life is completely different with you in it. And um, that's part of why I'm so excited to be with you here today, is because I've talked so much about you as, and Jeremy as, this, roads, and just winding in front of you, and when they happen to cross with somebody else, that you're just like, where was my life before this? And yes, it all happens the way it's supposed to. I'm just really grateful that our lives became intertwined, and that I've had a chance to know you and get to know you even more. I think I can say it took me a second. It did, because of my own guardedness, my own not necessarily ready for the, even as we've talked about in previous conversations, that intimacy with another human being on a level that perhaps I've never known before, and all the old truths and conditioning and ways, shame storms and trauma of that just have that disallowed me from taking steps towards intimate relationships. What I appreciate, I think most of all is that recognition of courage, just courage to be vulnerable and courage to just let go and be witnessed and let somebody hold you.
Mm-hmm.
Ask to be held.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are a zillion ways for folks that are listening in to experience you. And I say that not in a smart ass way, but just like you're an incredibly busy woman. And you have so many different ways that people can just experience your magic, whether it's listening to your music or actually taking part in a class. And I just want folks, I want to be sure there's no hesitation if somebody wants to connect and know you and your magic and your music and more, that they've got every element possible or every avenue possible. And I'm going to put all of this in the show notes. But if somebody were to look you up, they would StephanieUrbinaJones.com would be the safe place to go, right?
Right. StephanieUrbinaJones.com. Yeah. And we're hoping how do I bring these worlds together? They are together. I don't know how to bring them together, but that's the exploration right now. But StephanieUrbinaJones.com. And then of course, freedomfolkandsoul.org, which is, we do all of our
Yep.
teachings there. And then shamanheart.org.
Yep.
I was given that as a spirit name when I first got into this work. And so you can find me there too.
Yeah. And you have been having a ton of fun on Facebook with your fashion, with your Frida's Closet, which I adore. If I had $1 million, right, I would spend it on shawls and multiple layers of jewelry. And there's a wrist a bracelet that you wear that's crochet or knitted or crocheted, one or the other, and it's got jewels on it, or silver pendants on it. And my pseudo niece Emily, I've been trying to get her to, she crochets, and I'm like, you could make $1 million on these things, I tell you what.
Sure.
And I've got the woman that'll wear them. I can see her with them on, right?
For sure. Yeah, that's been, that's interesting. You should say that because it's been a quandary too. Like, I'm a shaman, I'm a healing teacher, and I love bling, I love sequins, I love rhinestones, I love high heels. And I've been like, is that okay,
It's
spirit?
so beautiful.
I love it. It's been a part of my own self-love healing, to own
Yes.
that and not let it own me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's been good. Thank you. So yeah, people, and I'm planning on making that more a part of what I'm doing this year. Frida's Closet is my little online store that we're going to have up with all kinds of amazing, cool things.
And then you've mentioned journeys. You've got Teo, a couple journeys to Teo again.
Yeah.
The wheel.
I'm really, as a teacher, as a guide, I think I create what I long for. Right. And so the
Mhm.
medicine wheel, the Toltec medicine wheel of transformation is so amazing and powerful to like go back through and become aware of the things that are, we're carrying around and we're not even aware of, to illuminate them and then to release those things and to turn them into medicine and powerful transformation and to live our lives, more whole and happy and, to go for it instead of being stumped with this or that, right? So that is so powerful, the medicine wheel. And then, the ministerial program we created with Freedom, Folk, and Soul, because life is a ceremony, and more with everything that's happening on the planet, just helping support and serve people in awakening their natural ability to be present and to be a witness and a guide in all kinds of moments of things that are happening. People are, needing ceremony and sacred, turning things into sacred moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is an amazing thing. Ministerial program. Again, this March, we teach funerals and weddings and baby blessings and rites of passage and all. It's amazing. What another leadership thing. And then, I'm leading journeys to priestess journey to Avalon. The mists of Avalon with the leading teachers, Jennifer Harvard and Vera Lopez. I'm excited about that. The medicine wheel in Teo, and I'm not on it, but the one in Northern California. Go. If y'all are listening and you're like, something is niggling you in your life, go take it to task. You will be so grateful you did, and then, we are leading that journey to Peru, which is for leaders, for teachers, people that are stepping into their leadership. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Beautiful.
So it's going to be an amazing year.
It's already middle of January and there's already not enough time to pack it all in. It's amazing. Again, I'll put all of the ways to connect with you in the show notes. And I just thank you. Your spending time with me makes my soul happy and warm and feels good. I wish we could find other, more and more. I wish we had more time together always amidst life. But the time that I do spend with you, I always leave feeling happy and like I've got a connection with you that I treasure it. So thank you for that.
Too. I feel the exact same way, and you don't know it, or maybe you do, but my dreams include dreaming with you. I don't know what that's about yet, but I have a mad love and respect for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank everyone for tuning in and thinking out loud with me and today's guest, Stephanie Urbina Jones. Please continue to tune in. I'll keep you posted on when that is and who my next guest will be. And until then, take care of you. Big hugs, big love. Please be kind to one another, and I will see you soon. Bye, friends.
Yo, tell me what's next.